Hey everybody, welcome to the Thriving Lives podcast, to our weekly Zoom call. What is it, Wednesday? Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's kind of thawed out from the past weekend of being negative temperatures. If your motivation has been sucking the last week and you're from the Kansas City area, it makes sense. It's been negative temperatures outside. Nobody in their right mind is going to be highly motivated and probably not executing at a super high level. But again, just being mindful, controlling the controllables is always key during times like that. Renee, we kind of talked about your past week before you got on here. I won't make you go back through that, but Renee's kind of had a tough week. She's busy doing something here at the moment. I'll just speak for you so you don't have to go back into it. But been a tough
Oh,
week for Renee, but she had a good workout today though. So
no,
that's
you missed that part. I have not gotten my
oh,
workout
you
in.
didn't get oh damn it,
I
Renee.
know I had that interview. I didn't get to go to
Oh,
the
okay. All
gym.
right. All right. All right. That makes
So typically I would like to, if, then I should go make it up tomorrow morning, but I have to like shower tonight after this, which means I'm not going to go to bed at 8 p.m., which means waking up at 4 a.m. is also going to be rough.
yeah, that's true.
Um, but I need to get 4 workouts in before, um, hopefully before Tuesday, because I have that excision on Tuesday,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
and I'll be out for the count.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. But also, if you don't get them all in, then you don't get them all in.
No, that's
Don't
not
beat
good.
yourself up about it. It's not like you're falling off the long term with it. You're again understanding how your week has been had with it. You know, things out of your control. You just got to roll with the punches and do what you can with it, and give yourself grace for off week here or there. But a lot of this was out of your control, so it is what it
Yeah,
is. Roll with
but
it.
dinner's great.
Good.
I made a really
Nutrition's
good
on point.
dinner. Well, Monday dinner was not great, but because I didn't want to cook because I had a really bad
That
day.
was a bad day. Yeah, that was a really bad day.
That was a bad day.
Saw
But
you posting the
Tuesday,
recipes though. That looked
yeah, I made spinach and feta turkey burgers, which are probably my new favorite thing. I'll get hooked on this for probably a month. Um,
nice.
And yeah, I was reading the ingredients, and on my bun, it has 26 grams of fiber in it.
That's a lot of fiber.
I know.
Yeah.
My mistake. I didn't calculate that because now I had that. And then my other, like one of the bars I had this morning had 11 grams of fiber in it. And then the
Okay.
rice had like 6 grams of fiber. And I'm like,
Yeah. So
what?
you're just stacking up. Did you have any avocado or anything today either?
No,
Okay. All right. There you go. I was gonna say you're really hitting it. Any chia seeds or anything? Because there's
no,
you're getting
no,
it.
I didn't have time for my
Yeah.
shake this morning because I slept in until the last possible minute.
Well,
Um,
and since you brought up the fiber side of things, for clarification for everybody else, we definitely want enough fiber in our diet, but sometimes those fiber bombs where we're getting a ton of fiber all at once can also, cause some digestive issues a little bit. Fiber, like most things, it's like Goldilocks, trying to find that happy medium. Too less, not a good thing. Too much, also not a good thing. So kind of find a happy balance. But I mean, really, 26 in the one meal, 11 in the other one. I mean, you're getting that 30 to 40 grams, so that's perfect. There's a lot of days where I'll have upwards of 40 grams. That doesn't seem to really ever bother my digestion, so that's not a big problem. But yeah, just be mindful of that. Make sure you're getting enough fiber in. If you're following your nutrition plan, it's laid out there for you perfectly. I'll have a lot of people say, "Hey, how do I get all my fiber in?" Well, first off, if you follow the nutrition plan, you're hitting that because I'm making sure on your nutrition plan, and so is Renee, that you're going to have enough fiber. But then also, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago using Thriving Lives Kitchen. There's a whole fiber section on there of other ways to get fiber in. Sounds like Renee has some buns that she could recommend as well that have a ton of fiber in
I
it.
don't know if I would recommend that. I mean, they're not bad, but the person
Okay,
that's not gluten free is not going to want them.
I got you. That makes sense.
Um, but there's yeah, I think they put like psyllium husk in there.
Psyllium husk, yeah.
Is it psyllium or psyllium?
Psyllium. I think it's psyllium. That's how I pronounce it at least.
Psyllium. Okay,
Definitely not xylem.
I can't read. It's fine.
Anyway, but yeah. So there's a little bonus tidbit on fiber. Thinking about my last week.
Yeah, how's your week been? You car back?
Yeah, car is back and working well. I don't know. It was a pretty good week. Chiefs
Some
won, so
at-home
that was
workouts with
great.
Lola.
Got a good workout in with Lola. That was a lot of fun. She almost giggled today. I think it was a giggle, but it was so brief, and I wasn't paying attention right when she did it. So I was trying to like get her on camera to do it again, and I couldn't recreate it. But that's a good step that I'm excited. Hopefully, she gets to actually giggle and laugh for the coming weeks. that'll be awesome. So, that was good. Definitely still trying to find my rhythm with, having Lola full time and Nicole being at work. Tuesdays, Nicole's at least home from work, but the other days it's a lot, but also I'm enjoying every second of it. Out running errands. She went to the post office with me today. She went to where else she go with me? Went to the car wash, went to O'Reilly Auto Parts
Hey,
to
your
get some
car wash is
car
supposed to
stuff.
snow again.
When? Not for like a week.
No, someone told me it's supposed to snow tomorrow.
Well, they didn't look at the weather for Kansas City, or I looked the wrong city because I don't think it's supposed to. But regardless, I need to get the car cleaned anyway, so I got that done. Did some O'Reilly stuff. So yeah, Lola just goes everywhere with me. She's a good, easy baby to conquer life with. But I think that's about it though. Yeah, workout from home a couple days ago, whatever day that was when it was crazy cold outside, and I think Monday maybe. Monday? Yeah, I think it was Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, it was snowing. I didn't even know it was supposed to be snowing. I was going to take her to the gym, and then I was like, you know what? On second thought, no reason in getting her out in, negative temperatures with snow with, just our Honda Accord at that time instead of our SUV. So I was like, I don't want to risk it. So I just did a good home workout, which was really solid. My legs are in excruciating pain the last couple of days. So it was a decent workout at least. But anyway, though, so today's topics that we're going to be talking about. Number one is mindset. And I have something to kind of read off of for that quick talk. And then we're going to talk about lifestyle sessions, which I posted. I sent some individual messages. I also to people who showed me interest in wanting to do in-person training and some other things. But I also shared it in the group as well. And then just a general Q&A. So if you're on the call, definitely, we had a couple of questions right before we got rolling with this recording today. If you have any other questions, definitely let me know what those are. But so I'm in a networking group, and Evan Fulmer, who we did a Zoom call months ago. He's my financial advisor. He's a financial advisor as well. And he is our like educator coordinator in this networking group. And so he actually, I can't take full credit for this, but so the power of mindset is kind of what he spoke on today. So I've got pretty much 9 kind of steps or points in terms of the power of mindset. So I'm just going to kind of read off some of this, and I'll break off into my own kind of take on it. But so let me just start reading real quick. A positive mindset can move mountains. Attitude is important in business, or in our case, health and fitness and things of that nature. It directly influences, productivity, customer service, overall performance, things of that nature. Again, this is a business group, so that's why some of this is more business centered. Your attitude can significantly impact your perception of the world, as well as how others perceive you as well. So the new year is a good time to, reflect and start taking action and staying motivated. So here are some tips on staying motivated. Number one, know your why. This is one of those questions that's on everybody's questionnaire when they first, are looking to join TLF. And that's something that Renee and I talk about on those console calls, as well as really, diving into what is your why. Could it be for just vanity's sake? For some people, that is what it is. For a lot of people in this group, it's they have children and they want to be a healthy role model. For other people, it's they used to be confident, they used to feel good all the time, and now they no longer feel confident or feel good all the time. It could just be digestion issues. It could be, any of those things. But really diving into what is your actual why of why you're here and why this is important to you, not just today and this week and this month and this year, but in 5 years from now, and 10 years and 20 years from now, why is this stuff important? So know your why. The answer for that is different for everybody, of course. But until you know your answer, nothing's really going to really change for you. So that is crucial to figure out what is your why. Reorganize your life according to your why. So this is, you joining TLF. This is you starting to merge healthy, positive changes into your life. So reorganize your life according to your why. Write down specific plans for how to achieve this goal through current commitments. So what I like to look at this though, as figure out what does your schedule look like and how can we start merging things into it. Right now, what are those actionable steps? So thinking about what your why is and what your goal is that you're working for, what are those actionable things that you need to do on a consistent basis? Again, it doesn't have to be perfect in every single day, but what consistently should you be doing? Number 3 is use reminders to remember that why and stay focused on your goals. So again, when you're filling this out on your questionnaire, when we're having conversations on here or within your check-ins and things of that nature, Renee and I are going to remind you of your why, but it's important for you to keep that in the forefront of your mind as well. We're going to remind you when it makes sense for us to, but you need to keep those things in your head on a daily basis. And eventually it becomes automatic and you start, just living what you should be doing. But you've got to keep those things in the forefront of your mind. You can't stay motivated if you keep forgetting what your why is. So create those personal motivators that help you stay focused on this goal. Number 4 is do what you love and love what you do. This is kind of like falling in love with the process. If you're so just dead set on what the end goal is, the destination, you're missing all the fun along. You're missing all those checkpoints along the way, all those small wins along the way, things that nature. You might want to lose 20 pounds, but also your digestion was wrecked when you first came to TLF. If you're no longer bloating, if you're having daily bowel movements, things that nature, even if we're not to your end goal of losing that 20 pounds, we've already improved your digestion. So that is a huge win. And it's important that we, stop when we reflect on that. And that's why in those check-ins, we're asking you, what are some wins from this week? We're asking you to reflect on all these different, components of your life so we can recognize, have you made progress in all these other ways, not just what the damn scale says. Number 5 is reevaluate when needed. These tips and your original strategy won't keep you going forever. Occasionally take a moment to reevaluate your life according to your goal. So again, this comes down to our weekly check-ins and things of that nature, but sometimes you kind of get lost. I feel like the last couple of months are one of those times where we kind of get lost in what our why is because we're so caught up in the rest of our life and the holidays and things of that nature. So, hopping on, I've had a handful, actually more than a handful, I've had probably 2 or 3 handfuls of clients that have said, hey, can we hop a phone call? Or I've asked them to over the past couple of weeks, just reading through their check-ins or lack thereof, that they've kind of lost sight of what their goals are. So those phone calls are always, always helpful. Renee and I are both always, willing and ready to hop on those calls to help you kind of get back on it. Number 6 is celebrate success when planning your goal setting strategy. Don't forget to include those milestones. Again, this comes back to our check-ins. Renee and I talk about this every single week, but I've already circled back to check-in importance with almost all of these right here. If you're doing your consistent weekly check-ins, then you're not just crushing your health and fitness goals, but you're staying motivated. You're staying focused on all these things that we're talking about here.
I
Number
think the
7.
thing is too is like even if you had a bad week, well, obviously Marcus and I say this every week, but if you have a bad week, don't just not check in. Like, first of all, Marcus and I have no idea what happened in your week. So you not checking in, just we can't help you. So why are we there if you're not
Yeah.
going to check in? Second of all, at the very minimum, if you did nothing right that week, which is probably not even the case, you at least are able to then reflect on and own up to it and admit to that to yourself. Because if you don't reflect on it, there's no like you can't grow on it. Like you can sit there and think like, man, I feel like shit, I didn't do what I was supposed to do this week. But if you don't, even if you the moment you sit there and start to type it out and reflect on it, then you can own up to it and then you can progress. But if you don't own up to it, you cannot move forward and you're just gonna get stuck in this rut. And then there's a week again where Margaret and I are like, well, what happened? Why did they not check in? We can't do anything to help you. Um, so even if you don't like even just a simple check-in, like maybe you don't want to answer all 19 questions, but like
Yeah.
you got to say something, like
Yeah.
something.
Yes. And you bring up a good point with that as well, is that, some weeks you might not reflect on every line item in terms of your check-in questions, but giving us something. And also to kind of go with that as well is that if you're always on it with your water intake, you don't need to go into depth every week about what your water intake was like. We know at that point that you're pretty consistent with that water. You can really talk on what are the big wins this week, but then also what are the big struggles. And that might be leaving out some things. Maybe you never have digestion issues. Your digestion is always on point. So maybe that's something that you don't even need to include. But then if we see things kind of plateau, we might bring up those questions again. Is that, hey, I've seen a couple of weeks of plateauing here. Just remind me again, how was your water intake the past couple of weeks? How was your digestion the past couple of weeks? So we can kind of figure those things out. But, obviously the more in-depth your check-ins are, the better off you're at, especially when you're first getting started. I've had a lot of newer clients, more so lately, that have said, how overwhelming some of those check-in questions are at first, but it's because you're thinking about all these different things that you've never really thought much about. You've never really thought about your water intake or your digestion or your sleep or your stress. Maybe you've only thought about your stress, but really nothing else. So is it overwhelming at first? Of course it is, because you are asking a lot of questions of yourself. But when you have a lot of reps of that, when you do that on a weekly basis, then you start doing that just naturally on a daily basis. You're taking stock in account of, where's my water intake at for the day? Have I exercised? When am I going to? What's my nutrition been like? When these things become more prevalent in your mind, then they become more automatic and less of an effort. So that's why you should go through these questions and ask them of yourself every single week.
That's kind of the difference between not having a coach and having a coach. Is like
Yep.
you can have a coach, like you can have shitty weeks, but when you sit there and admit to it, like I mean, there's been so many times when I've had a bad week and I don't. Well, check-ins could be a little bit. Those are woohoo, but the first week I remember like coaching with Marcus, I had a bad week and I was like, oh great, it's week when I don't want to check in. But that's the difference between not having a coach and having a coach is like
Yep.
not having a coach, you consistently go through those bad weeks without any improvement.
Mhm.
Whereas when you have a coach, you can then start to change.
Yep. Yep. And when you don't have that coach on the other side of it, it's very easy to allow one week you didn't feel good about it, but you're not really doing that much, accountability and reflection on it. And so then it's going to snowball into a couple more weeks and things of that nature. And then before you know it, you've lost 6 months of the year. You've made
Mm.
zero progress. You're stuck in the exact same spot, if not in a worse spot, because you weren't accountable to yourself and you weren't accountable to anybody else. And at minimum, you got to be accountable to yourself. But again, a lot of us wouldn't be here if we were highly, highly, highly accountable to ourselves when it came to, especially nutrition more than anything, I feel like as well. But yeah, number 7 on here though is record your progress. Again, check-ins are key to that. Give yourself time to relax. So this is one on here though. This is to prevent, burnout. And so what we can see this in terms of the scope of TLF is, sometimes you're just burnt out on tracking your macros. Sometimes you're just burnt out on following a plan. And I think we try to build in, plenty of flexibility within those plans with the Thriving Lives cookbook. That's why if you're listening to these podcasts, these Zoom calls, we try to give you guys lots of understanding that there is 100 different pivots that we could make and changes that we could make. And that might just be, hey, this week eat intuitively. This week, just focus on getting 3 good servings of protein a day. Like, I'll make those suggestions all day long to a lot of different people, but the only way that I can make those suggestions is if you're checking in and communicating where you're at with it. But again, give yourself time to relax. So it could be that. It could be, a lot of you guys, will schedule in deload weeks and things of that nature. And sometimes that comes right at the right time, but sometimes you just need your own week to kind of just go through the motions or maybe step outside of the gym. Maybe that's leading to a little bit of burnout because you're just so focused on whatever that goal is that you're working towards. Sometimes just breaking out of that. This time of year, it's a little bit harder to do. But like in the springtime, summertime, fall time, I mean, get out and go on a hike, go paddle boarding, go in a damn canoe, go walk the dogs in some trails and stuff of that nature. Like find ways to mix up that exercise. We want to adopt a movement mindset. Living in motion is what we should be trying to do, whatever that looks like. It could be in the gym 100% of the time, or it could just be flexible. Some days are in the gym, some days it's out of the gym, some days it's doing a home workout with your daughter like I did a couple days ago. It's finding those different ways to be active. I also got, because I'm not teaching PE anymore, and I went from getting 15 to 20,000 steps a day and playing sports all day long with kids at elementary school. Now I'm more sedentary, especially when it's cold like this and I can't go on my, daily 2 to 3 walks like I usually would when it's a little bit nicer out. So I got a stationary bike here in my office that I have a stand-up desk so I can raise this up. I can put the bike underneath it and pedal for a little while. Or I can just get back there, first thing in the morning, I like to come down and hop on the bike and get a sweat and get some blood flowing so I can get started with the day. I don't know how I got on the topic of that, but my point is that it doesn't have to
We're
be
on rest.
it doesn't have to be on the gym though. Yeah, you're right. But in terms of this though, it's just getting out of whatever's causing you more stress. But that could just be, Sundays are my favorite day to do absolutely nothing. I might go to the gym in the morning, but then after that, I'm on the couch, binge watching whatever for 8 straight hours or playing video games or doing absolutely nothing. You've got to build that stuff out and be intentional about it. Just as much as you do the positive, the other, fitness components and things like that. And then number 9 on here is recruit help. So That could be recruit the help of, coaches like Renee and I. That could be friends to help you stay motivated. That could be if you, work in an office setting and you have a couple of close friends, if you're doing similar things as them or vice versa, then you can be moving together, in a positive way. You have other accountability partners in there. I think the more people you can include in your journey, the better. I've had some clients in the past that this is definitely not for everybody, but they would post their progress every single week on Facebook and things of that nature, because that external accountability of having, knowing others that are potentially following along with your journey, it gives you that little extra incentive to kick some ass this week so you can post about it next week. Again, that's not going to work for everybody. Most people probably don't want to get on Facebook and post whatever their progress is, even if it's not progress pictures, just post, about their journey. But you can still do it within your family, within your friend group and things of that nature. Doing this alone, is very, very tough to do. So definitely recruit that help. But, so those are some tips on, having a powerful mindset. Those are tips on you staying motivated. And a lot of those things are already built into Thriving Lives and everything we're doing here.
And it just takes time too.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
consistently, I think I say this a lot from the one podcast I heard, you are what you repeat. So repeatedly do those things and you'll get there, but you're not going to be there at first, and that's okay.
Definitely, 100%. I'll pause on that before we dive into the lifestyle sessions and any other Q&A. But anything, spark a thought, a question, a comment on any of the things we just chatted about. I know here in the comments, Daryl said, so real, talking about, I think, Renee, you were talking about, checking in after the not so good weeks and how important that is and crucial it is to our journeys. Anybody else have any thoughts, questions on any of that stuff? All righty. Well, if you do, definitely interrupt me and we can address that. But so now we'll dive into our second topic of the night, though, talking about lifestyle sessions. So right now, first, Renee, you're not doing lifestyle sessions yet. Something that you're going to do, but right now, Renee, you're in the middle of transitioning some job situations. But you're also you're getting certified. Actually, you have like 3 or 4 different things you're working on, new certifications, which is awesome, and that is super important for you to do. So, in order to still allow yourself to rest and still allow yourself
In
to
order
get
to grow, yeah,
exactly.
I have to get more
So,
experience and more
yeah,
certifications, and
100%. 100%.
yeah,
So right now, Renee is not doing the lifestyle sessions, but it's definitely with the intent that once we get those
I
certifications
will.
and whatnot, then yeah, we definitely will. But Renee actually kind of helped me formulate what these would look like as well. But so first and foremost, and I did send out the link, the Canva link to all these as well. They're in the group if you didn't see those. But so there are 3, actually kind of like 4 lifestyle sessions on here. So first and foremost, we have one-on-one in-person training. Now, I predominantly train in-person clients. I haven't the past couple of months since Lola arrived. But as of not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I'll be back in the gym and be kind of posting about this. So I'll kind of tell you about how that'll look like in the lifestyle sessions group. If you're not in that group, let me know and I can add you to it on the training app there. So essentially, though, what I plan on doing and what Renee will do as well once she is ready to start taking these on as well is each week we will post our availability. So it used to be when I was doing in-person training a lot in the gym, I had set hours, it was like 5 to 8 o'clock on Tuesdays. It was certain hours on Saturdays, which those are usually my more consistent hours, but I might have other weeks where I have more availability, on Thursday nights or to Thursday mornings, or whatever that looks like for people as well. So I'll post my availability for that coming week, or maybe even for the 2 upcoming weeks to give people a little more time to kind of plan ahead for things. And then you can book a lifestyle session if you would like to. So first, we're talking about one-on-one in-person training. So like I said before, I train out of Body Shop Gym in Overland Park. There's also another location in Lee Summit. But the Overland Park location is my main gym that I train out of. Now, how that would work if you decide to come there and train with me, essentially, we would get you in there. I'd have to have you, sign waivers and things of that nature once you get in there, and then essentially you would pay the $80 training fee to Body Shop Gym. And that's, easy to do. Just run your card real quick and then we'd get rocking and rolling. So there's that option. The second
Do
option
they
is
need a membership
they
or
do
do they
not
need just a 1 day?
they do not need a membership. And because you're paying for that in-person training session, you won't have to pay for a day pass. You're just paying for that one-time training session with me. And then we can, of course, do more than that if you want to do it. Now, if we wanted to make that a weekly thing or a more consistent thing, you would need to sign up with a PT gym membership there if we're going to make it a consistent thing. If this is just a one-off, once every now and then type of thing, then you're just paying for that one training session to the gym and that's it. The second option is I can come with you to work out. Now, if I was to come to somebody's gym, let's say we're going to go to Genesis and Liberty, because I'm not a trainer at those gyms, I will pretty much have to work out with you. As if you were my aunt that I'm showing how to work out, but I'm actually doing the workouts with you, as if you're my friend that I'm working out with. It'd essentially be like that if we're going to be doing that. But honestly, I feel like I'm a better personal trainer when I'm working out with somebody, just because there are 50 more cues that I can give when I'm actually training myself, cues that maybe I'm not thinking to say until I'm actually feeling it myself, plus the demonstration side of things as well. So I personally, my favorite training sessions with clients are the ones where I'm actually working out with them for that exact reason. So that's another option as well. If you have a home gym that you train out of, I can also come there and do that. Now, if you do live, 25 minutes away from essentially where I'm at, then there's an additional $20 fee just for driving fee and things of that nature. Now, if I'm coming to you, this is going to require a little bit more kind of back and forth and figuring out what the schedule would look like depending on your location. But so really all these are going to require some of that back and forth communication, obviously, because we got to line up when we're going to do this, where we're going to do that, and things of that nature. But so that is kind of what that looks like for the in-person training. Those are all hour-long sessions. We might go a little bit past the hour, but either way, it'll be a pretty good an hour. The way I could see this being utilized, maybe you just need the extra push. You've been kind of going through a lull recently, and you haven't really been ramping things up much. It would be good for that motivation and kind of up the intensity of your workouts. It would be great if it's a new training program that you're on. Maybe you don't have a lot of experience in the gym, doing 2 or 3 of these. We could break down what your workout plan looks like. We could break down specific exercises. If you're having trouble, I have a lot, some clients on here that struggle with back day and really feeling those movements. So we could go do a back workout together, and then I can obviously give feedback more and we can tweak some things. That's always good with that. Another thing as well is, if you feel like you're crushing it in the gym and your nutrition's been consistent, but you're just not seeing the physical changes that you really want to see, you're not seeing the muscle growth, you're not seeing the fat loss like you want to see it, or better definition, maybe you're not feeling it in certain muscles, whatever the case is, just to see how you can actually ramp up the intensity. The handful of clients that I've actually worked out with before realized that they weren't really pushing themselves. If they were doing 3 sets of 10 with, let's just say for easy example, dumbbell bench press, they were able to complete their 3 sets of 10 and then move on to the next exercise. But when they were training with me, I wouldn't allow them just to pick a weight that they could just get 10 reps with. You're going to have to struggle to get those 10 reps. And those types of reps, those types of sets are how we're actually going to see that physical difference. And really see muscle growth, strength gains, things of that nature when we're actually pushing ourselves. Just
And
showing
I'll
up.
speak on that too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
when you have someone right there with you telling you you can lift heavier, and then you start to believe it like when you're on your own. Like Marcus and I worked out maybe
Yeah.
twice.
One or two times we had intentions to do a lot more, but
Yeah,
we
but
didn't realize how long our work days were actually going to be.
but since then, that's when I've really noticed more like growth because I push myself more because I well, okay, I guess I could do this when I did it with Marcus. So like I can do it. Now there's still times I'll grab weights that are too heavy and I'm like, yeah, it's just not happening.
Yeah.
But to the major point is it does help.
Well, and like you just said, though, sometimes you'll still grab weights and be like, well, this isn't going to happen. But the fact that you had the courage to actually go grab the
Oh,
heavier weight,
100%.
even if it's not going to work, you immediately knew right away that, at least you were testing your boundaries. Whereas I feel like a lot of people, they don't test their boundaries in the gym. because they don't know they really can test the boundaries,
Yeah, no.
or it's you're fearful of getting hurt, which is another whole factor why in-person training is super important. And to be honest, that is one of the biggest downsides with online training is
Yeah.
unless you know exactly what you're doing in the gym and how to execute and what your intensity should be like and all that stuff in the gym, then it's going to be tough to get the most out of your workouts if you haven't had that extra training and things of that nature. So, this is definitely a good way to overcome a lot of things. Maybe you're fearful of going to the gym. You want to go to the gym, but you're fearful of going because you don't know where things are. You don't know, how to set things up, whatever the case is. That's another thing that when you're doing that with somebody, it's just very, very helpful. It gives you confidence in what you're doing there and that self-efficacy to go do this shit on your own, and be able to take it to new levels that maybe you haven't been able to do before. So that's kind of what the in-person training situation looks like with that. Number two, I'm really excited about this one. So this is our grocery run. So this one would be essentially whatever grocery store you go to. Maybe you go to Sam's Club. We would find a Sam's Club that makes sense for where we're both located. Maybe I come to your home one. Maybe you come to my home one. Maybe we meet in the middle, depending on your location in the city. But regardless, we're going to stop at Sam's Club. Ideally, I'm coming to whatever grocery store you're most comfortable that you usually go to. That's my ideal situation. But again, location might just make a difference. But so I'm coming to that grocery store and we're going to go through it together. First and foremost, we're going to learn how to shop your meal plan um, efficiently and go through that pretty quickly. But then also during that time, we're going to maximize that time as best we can. If you don't really know what you're doing looking at nutrition labels, maybe you do know what you're doing and we spend 2 minutes looking at nutrition labels. But I'm like, all right, they got this. Maybe you have no idea what you're looking at with nutrition labels. So we can go scan a bunch of different products so you can start getting better understanding of what to look for, why you're looking for it, things of that nature. We can look for ingredients to look for, ingredients to not look for in your food products. We can look at, what are some foods that you like eating. Now let's go find, maybe more healthy or more unhealthy, traditional American type foods, and we can go find better options, other substitutions for what your normal meals maybe used to look like or currently look like or whatever. Maybe we go through there and be like, all right, we're going to completely reconstruct a new diet plan for you just walking through the store together. We're going to go, I'm going to ask you, hey, what sounds good for you to eat for breakfast this week? And then we're going to go figure out what are some good options for you. Something I did for Nicole the other day, because she's been struggling now that she's back at work, is figuring out what her breakfast is going to look like, dealing with Lola in the morning, hanging out with her, trying to do that stuff. She doesn't want to spend much time in the kitchen, but she also doesn't want to just have a protein shake every day for breakfast either. So what's kind of a meat in the middle? So, without her the other day, I went to the grocery store and found, 6 different options that would be good for her to have breakfast that are going to be high protein, good amount of fiber, and not a bunch of other unhealthy type shit and, low quality processed foods and stuff of that nature. So I found some good options for her. So that would be another good reason to use that as well. But yeah, so that's really the main thing. So again, it's all customizable to what your needs are, what you need help with essentially. But we'll figure that out pretty quick, either on a phone call before we go to the grocery store, or they're at the grocery store as well. Renee, anything else to add to that one?
Did you tell them how much and how long?
Yeah, so essentially the grocery run and the in-person training session, they're both gonna be $80 a session. Again, if it's 25-minute drive or further, then just a additional $20 for the travel fee essentially of it. The grocery run though, I say an hour on here, might be less, might be more. It just comes down to kind of what your needs are, how busy the grocery store is, all those types of things. But I would plan on about an hour for each of those though. Um, let me pause real quick. Anybody have any questions on the in-person training or on the grocery shopping? Um, Questions, thoughts? Rock and roll. All right, third one. This one is meal prep. So this is one of those things where if you don't know what you're doing with meal prep and you don't buy into the whole trial and error and navigate it and figure it out week over week, then if you never learn how to meal prep, and you choose not to do meal prep services where you're paying for, a premium to have pre-made meals, shipped to you or whatever the case is, then if you're not doing any sort of that meal prep, you're most likely going to be in survival mode all week long, all month long, all year long, and you're going to fall into not knowing what to eat, not having anything prepared. So you're going to go to fast food a lot more often, or you're going to under eat massively, or you're just going to eat a bunch of snack foods and be stuck in the same spot you're currently in. So when it comes to meal prepping, I have my ways of doing it, but ultimately, we'll meet together at your house. I'll come to your house with whatever you have to prep. Meaning, ideally, you've already grocery shopped for yourself for the situation. You have what you need based on your meal plan, and then we're going to look at, okay, how can we structure to be as efficient as possible, but also make this food taste as good as possible as well. So, if all you have is a cooking pan and that's where you have to use, then we'll use that together and we'll think about how we can do things efficiently. I might also send you, links ahead of time. Maybe, having, if you don't have any Tupperware, or, I personally prefer glass Tupperware. It's more expensive, but you're not getting all the plastic in your food that might happen if you're having only plastic Tupperware, things like that. So I might have some recommendations, but again, we have to factor in cost and things of that nature into what you're doing. But yeah, so this will be us doing that. Also doing an audit of what you currently have at home, and then going through a list of things that I would recommend having on hand at home. We already kind of give you that, but doing that more in person to match your personal preferences and needs and things of that nature. It's just a more individualized approach, because we're there in person, we can kind of talk through things. But so again, going through different cooking methods, using your different seasonings and spices and sauces on hands, things of that nature. But I see this as a really good one to pair with, I call it the first class experience, but essentially we're doing all these things. You could also just kind of combo it up and just do the meal prep and the grocery run together, or we can do all three of them. So the first class experience, essentially, the way that I would see it, the example that I use, but we could figure out how to do this one for you individually, though, would be to go grocery shopping, take that food back to your house, get it all kind of going. So if we're using a pressure cooker, obviously, if we're using the stove or the oven or something like that, we can't just leave that there and go to the gym and come back. But if we're using the pressure cooker, rice cooker, which I do highly encourage you use, then we can toss that in, get that stuff going, go get your workout in, come back, and then finish meal prepping, which is honestly the way I meal prep a lot of the time anyway. Or we go meal prep, go to the gym, or we do that vice versa. We go to the gym, go grocery shopping, and then come back to your house and get everything meal prepped and ready to go for the week. So yeah, those are essentially what the lifestyle sessions are.
And how
Uh,
much is that one?
the first class one, it's a combo of all three of them, and that one's 275. Just the meal prep session is 150, because that's going to take probably at least 2 to 3 hours, because
And
that's
it
that shouldn't be how long your actual meal prep
correct
takes. That is the, learning how to track your
teaching.
macros. That's the teaching. That's the educational side, which again, some people are going to need a little bit, some people are going to need a ton. So we're going to give you what you need in that moment and try to maximize our time together with it. Because, obviously I can come out and help you meal prep more often than that. But ideally the meal prep or the first class experience, things like that, those are like one-time things where, if you get the most out of it that you can in that moment, then you shouldn't really need that stuff again. But if you do, fantastic, we can definitely do that again. The in-person training sessions, that's something we can do on a more recurring basis and things of that nature. But so essentially, especially with Lola and managing my time, my hours to do this, they're going to be still pretty selective. I'm guessing about 5 to 6 hours a week. Obviously, if we need to do the first class experience or something like that, where it's going to take a little bit longer, or the meal prep session, those things are going to take a little longer. And again, we'll just plan out when it makes sense in both of our schedules, and they'll make it happen from there. So I do have, these are all linked on the on our website as well, where you can purchase these. But what I would recommend doing, especially for you current TLFers, is reach out to me if you want to do any of these things. Once you see my times, that I post, or even if you see time on there that doesn't work for you, let me know that you want to get in for one of these sessions, and then you and I will touch base about, getting that planned out. So definitely let me know about any of that stuff. And then once Renee is ready and taking these on as well, then we'll make that known so you guys can hit her up for those as well. But those are the lifestyle sessions. Any other questions on any of those? That means I explained it perfectly. So
You
good
did
job.
good.
Renee, you got any other thoughts on any of that stuff?
Mm, no,
Again, I explained it perfectly. So
you
it
did good.
doesn't
I
need
don't
much
know.
more. All right. Any other questions, thoughts, struggles. We did have Jay on here earlier, asked about the multivitamin on his nutrition plan and supplement plan. I had on there for dinner time to take his multivitamin. He asked, why specifically dinner. Ultimately, it just comes down to what works for you. You can have that multivitamin or most of your other supplements. They're not going to be so time sensitive, but some of them will. Some of your supplements, you will want to get those things kind of first thing in the morning. Vitamin D is one of those where we try to get that in the morning. But ultimately, it comes down to what your schedule looks like. What are you eating? Breakfast at home? Are you eating dinner at home? Whatever the case is. So most of the time, it just comes down to what's most convenient for you. Unless indicated on like the supplement bottle or package or whatever that you're supposed to take this X and XYZ times, that's when you should follow those a little bit more rigidly. But if there's no time, associated on there, then you can take it however it makes sense for you too. What was I think that was really the only question. Any other questions from any of our Zoomers tonight?
What's up, Marcus? I got a question.
Give it to me, dude.
I wanted to ask earlier about it. I want to interrupt you guys. You brought up chia seeds and
You
stuff.
should have. You should have remembered me. Yeah, what's up? Chia seeds.
What's the secret, man, to like getting the chia seeds down and not getting it all stuck to the bottom of your shaker bottle, man? Because
Did you
I
do what I
shake it up
said?
real,
Did you shake it up each time?
yeah, I shake it up real good and I drink it like within a minute. But when I finish it, there's still a bunch stuck at the bottom, man. I feel like I wasted.
Well, I mean, yeah, because those that damn, I'm studying. The chia seeds, psyllium husk, any of that stuff, even ground flax. There's gonna be still some leftover residue with that. So I'm big on I don't want to waste any of that stuff. So I just use that as a bonus time to get extra water in. So I'll refill it with, 20 ounces of water, shake it up and get the rest of it out of there, and then knock it back as well. So that's what I do with that. So I'm not wasting the chia seeds, So that way, if you put in 2 tablespoons, you're getting all 2 tablespoons worth. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
does that I mean, so you can, some people can blend up, you can always blend up your, any of that stuff. And again, chia seeds, I don't do a lot of ground flaxseed recommendations anymore, but so ground flaxseed or psyllium husk, those things, those are not on there for enjoyment benefits. Like that, hopefully, unless you have a really bad texture issue, they're not a nuisance to get down. But for some people, if you absolutely hate and it's a texture thing for you, I get that. Things like pudding to me, I can't do that texture.
I would
Um,
eat pudding all day before I drank chia seeds.
Really. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
mean, but anyway though, so I get a texture thing. So if you have a texture phobia or issue with something,
Phobia.
we can forego that. And Dex, it might not necessarily be, but you in that situation. To me, I just look
Mhm.
at it as function over enjoyment. I'm doing this for the fiber benefit. It's such an easy way to get extra fiber in. Um, especially if we have people that don't like eating a lot of veggies. Not that replaces any veggies because it doesn't, because you're not getting the other, vitamins and minerals from it, but you are getting good fiber from it. So that's really the reason why I always recommend that stuff. But, you can also go get Renee's hamburger buns that have 26 grams of fiber and be set as
They
well.
were expensive too. It was $10 for 4 buns
That's what you get when you only shop at Whole Foods.
and a healthy body.
That's true. That's true. Dex, is that all you had, brother?
Okay, yeah, no, that's all I had. I'll try and mix it with some water. Melissa in the chat said the same thing, mix it with water. So
Mix it. Yeah. Yeah.
try
That's
that out.
Hunter says hi as well. What's up, Hunter?
Yeah, what's up?
That's awesome. But yeah, yeah, just mix it with water and mix it again. That's what she said. So that's exactly what I do is that I'll mix it up and then add some more water into it and then finish it off. Um, or add 3 tablespoons. And if you have 1 tablespoon that's still left over,
Nah,
honestly,
man, I don't want to increase it.
That is just wasteful. You think Whole Foods is expensive?
uh, yeah, but I don't get just a small amount of chia seeds. Whenever I order up my chia seeds, I order the 10 pound in bulk off Amazon for like $30 or something like that, and that lasts like a year having 10 pounds of them. So that's what I do with the chia
A
seeds.
year for 30. My
It,
chia
it,
seeds,
it might be a
my
little more.
organic chia seeds that were like a bag of this, I
Yeah,
think it's $10 each time.
yeah, yeah. Well, you can get again, it's
No.
I'm all about efficiency and doing things in bulk as much as possible. Actually, one time we were out of chia seeds, and Nicole usually uses those as well, and she ordered a 10 pound bag at the same time that I did as well. So we ended up with 20 pounds. So for like a year and a half, we were just set on chia seeds in the house.
I only eat one brand of chia seeds, because I tried getting the I tried saving money and getting the Whole Foods brand, and
Mhm.
my stomach did not react well. So for some reason,
Really?
yeah, I don't know what it was. I tried it like a few times and I noticed it. So they
Yeah.
were organic still too, but I have a whack stomach.
I was gonna say, yeah, you have a
Um,
sensitive stomach.
yeah, so
Do you notice the difference between different brands? I just buy like that cheap Walmart brand, but
I
I
noticed
don't
a difference, but that's just me.
know. Okay.
I
That
have
is a
the
little bit weird.
worst stomach.
I would say because I've had multiple different brands, and then once I got to the point where I was like, I'm just gonna do this in as bulk as that I can, that makes sense. But so I've used a handful of different brands. I've never noticed a difference between really any of them. But different brands and different things that nature with other foods as well. I mean, it definitely can make a difference in the way that things were processed, whatever the case is. Not that this is a processed food by any means, but eggs is one of those things. Just normal eggs, they seem to bother my stomach a little bit, but doing like the cage-free organic, pasture-raised eggs, I don't have any issues with those eggs. So like sometimes it might not be the food that you have a sensitivity to. Maybe it's just the quality of whatever that is. So, trial and error is key, and that's why being consistent. I know that's not what you're asking about, Dexter, but just being consistent across the board though, doing something consistently. I'm gonna have this breakfast each day for this week, this lunch, this dinner. That way, if you're super consistent with things, you can start pinpointing, do you have triggers or are you golden? And then whenever you do input something else new into your nutrition, then you can be like, okay, I felt fine, or I did not feel fine, or I felt better from it. So consistency and Dex, I mean, I always brag about you as well, but you've been here for so long and been so consistent for a lot of time that hopefully, by now you have a pretty good handle on what works for you, what doesn't work for you. But the whole chia seed thing though, I get it though.
Yeah.
At least
I,
keep avocados in there if you're gonna toss them out.
oh yeah, I love avocados. Been eating that since I was a kid.
Good, 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 good,
I
good.
put my chia seeds either in my smoothies, like frozen fruit and my protein powder, or I put it in yogurt if I have yogurt that day.
Yeah, I've got a lot of people that
Um,
like it in yogurt as well. I've never done it in yogurt, but that's because I don't have an issue with the shakes. But also, what I do to save on not using the dishwasher a ton is I'll use the same shaker bottle for like 4 or 5 straight days and just put it in the fridge after I'm done with it. So I'll like mix up my protein and chia seeds or whatever, and then after I finish it, put it back in the fridge. Um,
Stink.
No, man, I mean, just like, if you're using like whey protein, it'd be just like putting milk back in the fridge, as long as it's not expired by any means. So I figure 3 or 4 days of the same shaker bottle ain't a problem. If you go put it on your nightstand and then come back for it, yeah, that's going to be rank the next day. But if you just put it in the fridge, you're good. But that's also because I'm like, we already go through a damn, just between Nicole and I, without Lola doesn't even use, plates or anything. We don't use a dishwasher for her baby stuff. We still go through at least one load of the dishwasher, and that's with me conservatively using my shaker bottles.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna try that out, man. If it stinks, I'll come back to you. I'm gonna let
Don't
you know.
don't do it. We'll just go walk around a gym. Most gyms have just a ton of shaker bottles that have been left over there. That's how I have about half my shaker bottles is shit that I've just grabbed from the gym that's been there for weeks.
Man, you don't know who's using things.
yeah,
I wash it. I wash it.
I don't need to put anything through a power washer.
No, for real. When I used to work at Gold's, there would be people that when I was selling membership there and cleaning the gym and stuff, there'd be people that I'm like, if that shaker bottle's here on Saturday, I'm taking that shit home. And at that, once we moved into the house, we were like, all right, we got to get rid of some of these shaker bottles. But yeah, I did that for a while.
They might be biting that shaker bottle and
That's what I think I forget too, is that I'm always like, oh yeah, just take a shaker bottle with protein powder. And I'm like, oh no, people actually to buy these things. Most people don't just take them from the gym when they're for a week. That's how I had such a surplus of them. Uh, yeah, you got to make it fit however you're going to. Well, anyway, though, Dex, you got anything else? Jay, Melissa, Maddie, hopefully you've
I'm good.
enjoyed our stupid banter for a little bit. Well, anyway, tomorrow is check-in day, so make sure you submit your check-in and have a good week. Go Chiefs. That's all I got for you guys. You have a good weekend, and yeah, see you guys on check-in day.
Bye.
See you, Renee.